Have you ever noticed your legs feeling weaker even though you're eating healthy, staying active, and doing all the right things? Maybe you're waking up with stiff knees, or your afternoon walk feels harder than it used to, and yet you've been so careful. You skip the chips, you load up on fruit instead. That's what we were all told, wasn't it? That fruit is nature's gift to our health. But what if I told you some of those fruits, yes, even the healthy ones, might quietly be stealing your strength? We're not here to scare you. We're here to gently uncover some truths. Because knowledge, especially at our age, is freedom. And when it comes to our legs, our joints, and the way we move through life, we deserve to feel strong, steady, and supported. So today, let's explore 7 fruits you may want to rethink and what you can choose instead. Section 1. Pineapple, the anti-inflammatory that isn't now. Many of us have loved pineapple our whole lives. I remember Aunt Linda always serving it cold from the fridge in the summertime, cut into thick golden wedges, juice running down our fingers. She swore by its enzymes, said it helped her digestion and her arthritis. And yes, pineapple does contain something called bromelain, which can have anti-inflammatory effects. But here's where the full picture matters. Pineapple is also one of the highest sugar fruits. 1 cup of pineapple chunks carries over 16 grams of sugar. That's more than what's in some mini candy bars. And that sugar is delivered with a strong dose of acid. When sugar and acid hit our system together, especially without any fiber or fat to slow them down, it can create something we don't want: a low-grade inflammatory reaction. You may have felt this before and not realized the connection. Burning knees after a big fruit salad, that strange achy heaviness in your thighs during a walk, or even waking up with a stiff lower back after a night of eating light, just pineapple and yogurt maybe. It's not that pineapple is bad, but in our 60s and beyond, our joints and insulin sensitivity shift. What used to be harmless in our 30s now adds stress to our knees and hips, especially for those of us managing arthritis, gout, or type 2 diabetes. Pineapple can tip the balance in the wrong direction. But there's hope. If you love pineapple, you don't have to give it up entirely. The key is moderation and pairing. A few chunks of pineapple after a meal that included protein, say some grilled chicken or eggs, can blunt the sugar spike. You can also add a small handful of walnuts or a spoon of cottage cheese alongside. That slows digestion, steadies your blood sugar, and reduces that post-fruit crash. Many of us quietly endure, and most importantly, try not to eat pineapple on an empty stomach. Especially in the morning, that's when its acid and sugar can hit the hardest. Because if even pineapple can quietly create stress on our joints, what about the fruit that most of us were told builds muscle? Section 2. Bananas, the muscle myth. Now here's a fruit that many of us have relied on for decades, especially if we've ever been told to get more potassium. Bananas are easy portable and soft on aging teeth. Doctors used to recommend them for leg cramps and sore muscles. But in recent years, we've started seeing a different story. George, a 68-year-old retired bus driver from Tulsa, told me something interesting. He said, "Every morning I start with half a banana and toast. But around 10 a.m., I get this weird heaviness in my legs, like my thighs are wading through sand." He never thought it could be the banana. But here's why. It might be bananas are a high glycemic fruit. That means they raise your blood sugar quickly. Especially when eaten alone, they cause a spike, and what goes up must come down. That crash can leave you feeling fatigued, foggy, and, yes, weak in the legs. The potassium in bananas is helpful. Yes, but it's not magical. If the sugar in the banana is causing inflammation, the benefits of the potassium get washed away. And there's more: quick sugar spikes from fruits, like bananas, can contribute to something called insulin resistance over time. That's when your cells stop responding well to insulin and more sugar stays in your blood. Over months and years, that leads to inflammation not just in your blood vessels, but in your muscles and joints. Ever had a Charlie horse at night? Or those odd zings in your calves when you're just sitting quietly? While many factors can cause leg cramps, blood sugar instability is one of the sneakiest. But again, We don't need to toss bananas into the compost bin forever. The trick is pairing and timing. If you enjoy bananas, try slicing just half of one into plain Greek yogurt or eat it with a small spoon of natural peanut butter. That combo of protein and fat slows the sugar surge, making the banana less likely to cause that inflammatory dip afterward. And for our friends managing pre-diabetes or weight concerns, choosing a less ripe banana that is slightly green means more resistant starch and less sugar. These small changes don't feel dramatic, but they can ripple through your day. Better blood sugar means better energy. Better energy means stronger legs. And stronger legs. They mean independence. Now, what if something smaller than a banana was packing an even more painful punch? Section 3. Grapes, the tiny sugar bombs. Let's talk about grapes. Tiny, sweet, pop-in-your-mouth delicious, and often praised for their antioxidants, especially the red and purple ones. We've seen headlines saying grapes are good for your heart, and in moderation, that can be true. But here's the part we often don't hear. Grapes also pack a surprising punch when it comes to sugar and something called fructose, a type of sugar that behaves differently in the body. You see, fructose is processed by the liver. Unlike glucose, which your muscles can use for energy right away, fructose goes straight to your liver, where if there's too much of it, it can start producing uric acid. And uric acid is a known culprit in joint pain, swelling, and even gout. Linda, who's 72 and lives with her daughter in San Diego, shared something that really stuck with me. She said, "I'd snack on grapes while watching TV at night. It felt like a healthy treat. But some mornings, I'd wake up and feel like someone had stuffed cotton into my ankles, so swollen, so stiff." At first, she thought it was just aging. But when she paused the nightly grape habit, her swelling and discomfort noticeably eased. This doesn't mean grapes are bad across the board. They're still a whole food, and darker grapes, in particular, contain resveratrol, an antioxidant that can help with inflammation. But it's all about the dose. The problem: grapes are so easy to overeat. A few turn into a whole bunch, and suddenly you've eaten over 25 grams of sugar in one sitting, all from a healthy snack. If you enjoy grapes, consider measuring out a small portion. Half a cup is usually a safer serving size, especially if you're sensitive to joint swelling or prone to gout. And when you do enjoy them, pair them with a small piece of cheese or a handful of almonds. That fat and protein buffer can slow down the sugar absorption and prevent that spike and crash cycle that fatigues our legs and irritates our joints. And when shopping, reach for red or black grapes instead of green ones. The darker the color, the higher the antioxidant content. Because if grapes, something so small, can stir up that much trouble in our joints, wait until you hear about the fruit that pretends to hydrate us. Section 4. Watermelon, the deceptive hydrator. Watermelon. Just the name brings back memories of picnics, sticky fingers, and seed-spitting contests. It's juicy, refreshing, and mostly water. So how could it possibly be problematic? Well, here's what most people don't realize. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes of all fruits. That means it raises your blood sugar quickly and steeply. It's like lighting a match, bright and fast-burning, and after that fast-burning sugar hits your bloodstream, it leaves behind a sense of fatigue, inflammation, and for some people, heaviness in the legs. George, who we met earlier, told me this story one summer. It was hot out. I had a big slice of watermelon with lunch and another later in the afternoon, but by dinner time, I could barely lift my legs. My calves felt like they had sandbags strapped to them. He thought he was just dehydrated, but in reality, it was likely a crash after a high sugar hit. Now, remember, watermelon is about 90% water. That makes it feel hydrating. But hydration isn't just about water. It's about minerals, electrolytes, and keeping your blood sugar stable. When you eat a fruit like watermelon on its own, especially in large portions, the sugar gets absorbed almost immediately. Your body scrambles to process it. Your insulin levels shoot up, and for some of us, that creates a fatigue loop that starts in the bloodstream and ends in our muscles. And here's the quiet trap. Watermelon doesn't feel like a big sugar treat. It feels light. You don't feel like you're indulging the way you might with cake or soda. But your body doesn't know that difference. To your blood sugar is sugar. And too much sugar too quickly leads to inflammation. But again, you don't have to cut out watermelon entirely. If you love it, just eat it after a meal. That way, your body already has protein and fat digesting, which slows down how fast the watermelon sugar hits your bloodstream. Another tip, sprinkle a little sea salt on your slice. Not only does it bring out the sweetness, it also replaces some of the electrolytes that help your muscles recover and stay limber. And instead of eating a big bowl of watermelon as a snack, think of it as a treat to finish a well-balanced meal. You'll enjoy the flavor without the side effects. Because sometimes the fruits that feel the most refreshing can quietly make our legs feel the most tired. Now, let's move on to a fruit many of us eat in the morning for that vitamin C boost. It looks bright, sunny, and healthy, but for aging joints, it might be adding more strain than support. Section 5, Oranges. Vitamin C with a catch. There's something comforting about oranges, isn't there? Maybe it's childhood memories of school lunches or that citrusy scent filling the kitchen as we peel one in the afternoon. For many of us, oranges feel like a safe, trusted health food, rich in vitamin C, bright in color, refreshing to eat. But as we age, even a good thing can become less straightforward. Let's start with what's helpful. Vitamin C is crucial for collagen production, which helps maintain healthy skin and joint tissue. That part hasn't changed, but what's often overlooked is that oranges, like other citrus fruits, contain both citric acid and natural sugars. And in some older adults, this combination can aggravate inflammation, especially in the joints. Linda, who we met earlier, shared how she used to start every morning with a glass of orange juice. It felt like a clean way to begin the day. But over time, she started noticing something. Her knees ached more in the mornings, and it took longer to get out of bed. At first, she thought it was just old age setting in, but when she switched from orange juice to a breakfast with eggs and a small piece of whole fruit instead, the change was clear. Less morning stiffness, less knee pain. She still enjoyed oranges, but now she had them in a smarter way. So, what's going on here? First, orange juice, yes. Even fresh squeezed is highly concentrated. You're getting all the sugar of several oranges without the fiber that slows sugar absorption, that leads to a quick spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash. And that cycle often shows up in our legs through fatigue, soreness, and inflammation. Second, the citric acid in oranges and in lemons, grapefruits, and other citrus can irritate joints for some people, especially those with osteoarthritis. If you've ever had hip discomfort or knee tenderness that seems to flare up after citrus, it might not be your imagination. The good news, you don't have to give up oranges altogether. Start by eating the whole fruit instead of drinking the juice. The pulp and fiber help slow down sugar absorption and support digestion. Limit yourself to one small orange or half of a large one per sitting. And consider pairing it with a protein. Maybe some cottage cheese or a boiled egg, another helpful tip. Try using orange zest, the grated peel in recipes. It gives you the flavor and aroma without the sugar or acid hit. Oranges can still have a place in your life. But if your knees feel stiffer after your morning OJ, your body might be asking for a kinder alternative. Because even a fruit that looks crisp and clean can have a sharp edge. And speaking of sharp, let's move to a fruit that wears a beautiful green skin, but may be hiding some hidden discomfort inside. Section 6. Green apples, the hidden acidic agitator. There's something wholesome about a green apple, that tart crunch, the clean taste. It just feels like a healthy snack, doesn't it? And to be fair, apples can be healthy. They're full of fiber and contain a natural compound called pectin that's good for digestion. But green apples in particular come with two ingredients that may be less friendly to our aging joints: malic acid and hidden sugar. Malic acid gives green apples their signature tartness, while it can be helpful in small doses for muscle soreness in younger folks. In older adults, it can irritate sensitive digestion and inflame joints. This is especially true if your stomach lining is thinner or if you deal with acid reflux or arthritis. George told me something once that stood out. I'd eat a green apple at night because it felt light and clean. But by midnight, my hips would be throbbing. Sometimes even my thighs. At first, he thought it was the way he was sleeping. But when he swapped the apple for a slice of pear with almond butter, that nighttime ache began to fade. Green apples also contain a surprisingly fast-acting natural sugar. While not as intense as bananas or grapes, their sugar still adds up, and without a buffer like fat or protein, it can contribute to blood sugar spikes and muscle fatigue, especially if you're eating the apple alone on an empty stomach. And let's not forget digestion. For some of us, raw apples, especially tart ones, can lead to bloating, gassiness, and discomfort. That mild intestinal stress can ripple outward, making your legs feel heavier or achier than they should. But just like the other fruits we've discussed, we don't have to throw out the apple cart. Instead, consider how you eat them. Try baking green apples gently in the oven with a sprinkle of cinnamon. The heat softens the acid and makes the sugars more stable. Cinnamon adds its own anti-inflammatory properties and can help with blood sugar control. You get that apple pie flavor without the sugar spike or the joint aggravation. Another tip, pair a few slices of green apple with something creamy, like nut butter or a small piece of cheese. That pairing slows digestion, supports steady energy, and turns a simple fruit into a joint-friendly snack. Because the goal isn't to fear fruit, it's to enjoy it in ways that support how our bodies feel now, in this chapter of life. And now, let's finish with the sweetest and most surprising fruit on our list. Section 7, mango, the sugar bomb. Now, mangoes. Oh, how sweet they are. Many of us discovered them later in life, maybe in a tropical smoothie or as a treat from a farmer's market. They feel exotic, indulgent, and surprisingly healthy. After all, they're loaded with vitamin C, vitamin A, and that golden color just feels like wellness. But mangoes come with a not-so-sweet truth. They're one of the highest sugar fruits you can eat. In fact, just one medium-sized mango contains over 45 grams of sugar. That's more than a can of soda. Now, sugar from fruit isn't the same as added sugar, but when it's concentrated in that large, a dose, especially without fiber fat or protein. To slow it down, it behaves much the same. And for those of us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our bodies simply process sugar differently than they used to. Let me tell you about Uncle Roy. He's 75 now, used to be a postman, always walking. But over the last few years, he started having issues with his balance. He'd described this strange numbness in his feet, like walking on cotton, and a dull ache in his calves that made stairs harder. The doctors mentioned peripheral neuropathy, which can happen with age, and blood sugar issues. But Uncle Roy, he never ate candy. He thought he was doing everything right. It wasn't until his daughter asked about his smoothie habit that they figured it out. Every morning he blended up a mango with some orange juice and a banana. No added sugar, but the natural sugars alone totaled nearly 70 grams. That's a sugar bomb for the nervous system, and over time, those repeated spikes, especially early in the day, can wear down our blood vessels, irritate our nerves, and affect the circulation to our lower legs. That means swelling. That means tingling. That means balance and strength can suffer, but mango isn't the enemy. The problem is how much and how fast it's consumed. If you love mango, try slicing just a few cubes, no more than half a cup, and pairing it with something creamy, like a few slices of avocado. That gives you the healthy fats your joints need while slowing the sugar's impact on your body. Avocado also contains potassium and magnesium, which help your muscles relax and reduce cramps. Another tip, skip the smoothies. Eating whole mango pieces, chewing them slowly, helps your brain and gut process the fruit more gradually. Because when it comes to supporting our legs, balance matters. And that brings us to the good news. It's not just about what to avoid. It's also about what to enjoy. Let's talk about fruit swaps that actually strengthen our legs, improve circulation, and support. Joint comfort. Bonus section 5. Fruit swaps that strengthen legs. Here are 5 gentle heroes from the fruit world. delicious choices that do more healing than harm. You may already love some of them. If not, they're well worth a closer look. 1. Berries, nature's gentle powerhouses. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These tiny fruits are low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and deeply supportive of circulation and inflammation control. At our age, blood flow to the legs can become sluggish. That's where berries shine. Their compounds help strengthen capillaries and reduce oxidative stress, which means fewer aches, better recovery after walks, and more energy in your stride. Berries are also full of fiber, something many of us quietly lack. That fiber slows sugar absorption and supports gut health, which plays a surprising role in inflammation. Try a small bowl of mixed berries with a spoon of plain yogurt or chia seeds. It's light healing and deeply nourishing to tired legs. 2. Cherries, sweet relief for achy joints. Especially tart cherries or their juice in moderation. Cherries are famous for reducing uric acid, one of the major causes of gout and joint inflammation. If you've ever dealt with burning toes, swollen ankles, or sudden joint flares, cherries might be your secret weapon. Their compounds help flush out uric acid and calm inflammatory signals throughout the body. A small serving, about 10 cherries, is enough. Avoid dried cherries or cherry-flavored products, which often contain added sugars. Some people even find that a small glass of tart cherry juice before bed helps with muscle recovery and sleep quality. But be sure it's unsweetened and keep the portion small. 3. Avocado, the fruit that cushions your joints. Avocado is a fruit, and yes, it's full of fat, but the right kind. Monounsaturated fats help reduce joint friction, stabilize blood sugar, and support nerve health. For anyone struggling with leg cramps, balance issues, or hip stiffness, adding half an avocado a few times a week can make a real difference. You can slice it over toast, mash it with lemon, or add it to salads. Its creamy texture makes it a perfect pairing with fruit, like berries, or a few cubes of mango, as we mentioned earlier. And avocado's magnesium helps relax tight muscles. That's especially helpful if your legs tend to twitch at night or feel tense after sitting too long. Sure. Papaya, the gentle digestion hero. Papaya is sweet, but it's low on the glycemic index, meaning it doesn't spike your blood sugar the way bananas or watermelon can. It also contains papain, a natural enzyme that helps digestion and reduces inflammation. If your legs feel heavy after meals, or if your stomach often feels bloated or tight, papaya can help things move more comfortably, and when digestion is smooth, inflammation throughout the body can begin to ease. Papaya also contains vitamin C and beta-carotene, which support collagen and joint health. Try it diced with a squeeze of lime and a sprinkle of chia seeds. It's refreshing, healing, and easy on the body. 5. Pears, gentle on joints, kind to blood. Sugar. Pears are often overlooked, but they're one of the most leg-friendly fruits out there. They're soft, rich in soluble fiber, and have a mild sugar curve that's less likely to cause inflammation. That fiber supports gut health, lowers cholesterol, and helps prevent blood sugar spikes that can lead to leg fatigue. Choose ripe, juicy pears and eat them with the peel. That's where most of the fiber lives. You can pair them with a few walnut halves or a small square of cheese for a nourishing snack that supports energy stability and joint comfort, because in the end, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's learning to listen to your body and choosing fruits that fuel strength instead of stealing it. The truth is, you still have so much life to walk through, and your legs deserve the support to carry you there, with less pain, more confidence, and steady energy beneath you. You don't need to give up fruit. Just choose the ones that support your body today, because at our age, every step matters. Our legs carry more than just our weight. They carry our independence, our stories, our future plans. And when they ache, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a whisper asking for a little more kindness, a little more awareness. By understanding how some fruits affect our joints, muscles, and circulation,
we gain back the power to move with ease. One gentle choice at a time. So maybe today we swap the mango for some berries. Maybe we skip the orange juice and enjoy a pear instead.
It's not about restriction, it's about support. If this video gave you insight or hope, please click like, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who deserves to feel stronger too. And tell us in the comments, what fruit are you rethinking today?